So, what's up, guys? So, I actually just got home from the hospital, and was in there for another 4 days, 4 or 5 days, something like that. I'm going to say a week. Um, I put a video out where, everything was great. And the day that I went in to have my follow up from the surgery is the same day that I started to have these really massive chest pains that went from one side to the other side and down my sides. And then later on that day, I started to develop a fever. And I knew at that point that something didn't seem right. Like I was either, catching a cold. The biggest thing that they tell you that you have to be very careful when you have open heart surgery is you have to constantly be working with your lungs, trying to keep your lungs taking deep breaths all the time, using certain devices like this device here, where you have to breathe. You have to breathe in and try to hold that breath. That's to help prevent from getting pneumonia, what have you. And it turns out that I end up having a infection in my blood, and I didn't know what to think. I'm like flipping out. I'm like, okay, now I have an infection. What does this mean? So basically what it meant was that I had to undergo, another procedure, if you can see this, where it acts as a vacuum. Okay? And after giving me tons of antibiotics by IV, they send you home with this device that literally sucks to your chest. And what it's doing is it's sucking out. It sucks out anything that doesn't belong there, and it's supposed to actually be a very fast, very effective way of healing. So I'm home now. I had to have installed what they call a midline IV, which is this, which is on my arm. This is a midline that I will have to put antibiotics by hand into this IV, and that's about, I think they said 4 to 6 weeks of that. Plus I'll have this device going every single day, day and night, I think also for 4 to 6 weeks. So they say that most people that go and they have open heart, open surgery where they actually open you up, you have a very good chance of getting an infection. And I got an infection. And I'll just honestly tell you that the pain that I was experiencing was absolutely, I can't even describe the pain. The pain was just so piercing, and it was just so bad. Nobody should have to go through that. I ended up back into the intensive care unit, where I can honestly say that they took very good care of me from the time I had my surgery coming back in for this. They are very professional, and I have to say that there's a lot of people in the health field that anyhow, So now I have a nurse that actually comes to my home now, and I'm actually waiting on her. She's supposed to arrive this evening. I had all this stuff delivered. Let me show you here real quick, guys. There's this machine. It's a vacuum. Okay. There's this tiny machine right here that basically there's a canister that goes onto here. I just pop a canister on that. The canister connects to this, and that's what creates the suction. And you have stuff that just drains into that canister. It's just a very it's unfortunate that I'll have to carry this. That they gave me it's like a man purse looking thing where I'll have to carry that with me, but it is what it is, guys. Nobody asked for these things to happen. I did not ask for this to happen. It was a little bit scary, just because you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going on. And when I found out that I was going to have tubes stuck down my throat again, and they have to reopen this, the reason they had to go back in here is to make sure that the valve that they put in was not infected. Plus, they needed to check the sternum, check the bone, to make sure that there was no infection there. There's a lot involved with that. Well, it turned out that the valve was not infected. The valve looks good. The bone looks good. It's healing the way that it should. It's just had that bacteria that hit my bloodstream. And when it hits the bloodstream, especially after having surgery, that's a big deal, man. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Just getting home from the hospital and now having to deal with something totally different. But I can honestly tell you that I feel so much better. And none of us really know what is coming at us, what life is going to throw at you. It's a learning experience. And if anything, this is something that you didn't play around with. You can't play with this. It's very deadly. It can kill you. And I made the right decision last Friday to get to the hospital, because I knew that something didn't seem right, and I'm glad I made that call, because it was just the perfect timing for that to happen, to get in there, for them to get moving on this so that it wasn't more intense. Otherwise, I could actually very well been stuck in the hospital for quite a while. So there you have it. There is the most recent update on me, on this whole journey of having this and this operation. I thought getting through the heart operation that everything was great. I was doing good. My follow-up appointment went well, and then this happened that same day, later in the day, put me right back in the hospital. So this is it, y'all. So I am home now. I plan on doing more videos on this. I'm gonna take you guys along with me on some of the stuff and show you some of the stuff that I have to do. And just keep it real, y'all. It's good to see y'all again. It's been a little while. I missed y'all. So I'll definitely, I look a total wreck right now. I look just a total wreck. But just keep it real. Keep it real. Love the ones you're with, man. That's important. Just love them, love them, love them. And I'll talk to you guys